Hey everyone, this is Chuck. I wanted to answer what's probably a pretty straightforward and simple question, but I thought it was an interesting one. And that was to look at the manufacturing planning control system and talk about the idea of balancing versus priority. So let me share the screen here. Question I had from the student was what's the difference between the two? So if you remember the MPC chart, we've got strategy up on top, and that drives the business planning, which drives S&OP, which drives MPS, which drives MRP. And if you remember, we had the line here. Everything above that was all about planning. Below that, whether we're buying or manufacturing, is all about execution. And then we could put a vertical line down, and across some S&OP, we had resource planning. MPS was rough cut capacity planning. MRP had CRP. And then out of manufacturing, input, output, control. So we talked about everything above being planning, everything below being execution. Everything to the right of the horizontal or the vertical line is about capacity. Everything to the left is about priorities. And then over here, we had demand management, which brought in forecasting, distribution, marketplace knowledge, and came up with what our forecast was going to be. And it passed it on to 3 different levels. So the question was balance versus priority. Priority, let me just kind of change the color here for a second here. Priority is all about what to work on first, second, third, etc. And so we do that when we get down to the master production schedule and the MRP. The idea of balancing is happening here, working through demand management with S&OP, where we're balancing supply versus demand. So priorities is all about working first, second, or third. Balancing is balancing quantities, and that's the difference. We're trying to balance supply versus demand. So we get the demand from the customer, we turn around and we have to put a supply together. And we do that at 3 levels. S&OPs at overall volumes, master production schedule is the mix, so it's by finished goods part numbers. And then as we get down to sub-assemblies and components and such, that's when we're doing the same balancing supply versus demand at that level here. So again, priorities is all about first, second, and third. Balancing is all about quantities, balancing the demand quantities with how we're going to meet those demand quantities with our supply quantities at the different levels. So hope that helps you understand the difference.